Hey everybody, we've talked before about the power of no and of working with your clients instead of for your clients. Something came up this week in our 1% Solution group that really made me think about this a little bit more. And as I work with DJs all over the world, one of the things that I see happen a lot is that many of the problems that we run into could be avoided by being stronger with no and working with them, your clients, instead of for them. Easier said than done. I understand that. But when I talk to DJs who are telling me these things that have come up, most of the time they can be avoided. And the problem is we don't think they can be avoided. It's like, no, we did all of that. But like everything else, it's not just what you do, but how you do it. So I wanted to give you an example of the typical sort of message that I would deliver to my clients really twice. The first time in the initial sales meeting, we would cover this, but especially delivered even more when we sat down to do the planning session. And if you'll do it this way, making adjustments for your personality and for your client's personality, right? So you don't want to do this verbatim, but use this concept, you can really eliminate a lot of the problems that we run into down the road where people want us to do things that just aren't good things. So the speech basically goes something like this. So when we're doing the planning, when we sit down to do the planning, I would say today is really idea day. So we're going to work together to come up with some really creative ideas. I'm going to give you as many great ideas as I can. It's really important that if I give you an idea that you love, I want you to say, I love that idea. If I give you an idea that you hate, I want you to tell me you hate it. Now, you don't have to be a jerk about it, right? But I don't want you to go, that's okay. If you're really thinking, I hate it, I want you to say, wow, I really hate that idea. Now, when that happens, I will probably ask you why. And it's not to talk you into or out of anything. It's to understand. Once I understand why you hate the idea, that will help me give you a better idea that follows. So we have to be very candid with each other. So can I get your commitment to me that if I give you an idea of something to do that you will tell me that you hate it, you'll tell me that. And always the clients would laugh and go, oh yeah, no problem at all. I'll tell you. I'm like, okay, good. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Just go, oh, wow, that's horrible. I hate that. And we're now at this point, we're typically laughing. And then here comes the key part. Then I would say, and I'm going to do the same thing for you. If you give me an idea that I really hate, I'm going to tell you that I hate it. But understand, if I tell you that I hate it, it's not because I don't personally like the idea. It's because it won't work, or you're going to get a different result than you think you're going to get. Again, I will always tell you why. You won't even have to ask me why. If I say, wow, that's a really horrible idea, here's what's going to really happen. And I would give them, some little example along the lines of, sometimes people want, for example, some really meaningful lyrics to be playing as they walk into the room being introduced for the first time. The problem is nobody will hear those lyrics that are being played because they're cheering and screaming and excited. So I go, if those lyrics are really important for you, for your guests to hear that, let's put those some other time. I'm not saying that the song is a bad idea. I'm just saying maybe that particular moment. And I'll give you another idea, and then maybe I say, what if we did it here or here or here? Ultimately, it's your wedding, right? You get to make all the final decisions. If we disagree on something, you make the final call. But I will do that for you because I think I owe it to you. If you do that, if you set this up that way, it puts you in a really great position. Most of the time, very few clients give us ideas that we hate. They're more ideas that we're like, yeah, what about, and just tweak things around a little bit. But if you get an idea that is really awful, it gives you the ability, now you've established this up front, to be able to just sort of lean back and go, Jennifer, remember at the beginning when I said, like, if you give an idea that I really hate or that's a horrible idea, I would tell you it's a horrible idea. Usually they're already laughing at that point. I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is that horrible idea. Here's the problem with that. Here's what's going to happen if we do that. And then you've established this credibility and you can tell them no. I tell clients no a lot, but I do it in a gentle way. I'm not like, I'm not doing that. Right? That whole, like the DJs go, I only accept 10 requests. I'm like, I don't have a number. I'm just saying, listen, you've got some requests. By all means, give me your music list. I want to know what you love and what your family loves. But I just don't want you to, but if somebody said, I'm going to give you all the songs to play in the specific sequence to play them, then I would be able to say, that's a horrible idea. And here's why, right? So get used to setting that up at the beginning. It's important. You have to start by letting them agree to tell you your ideas are bad. And then when you say, and listen, you won't hurt my feelings. It's fine. I want to know. Then you can turn that around by saying, and I will do the same thing. You notice that what I said is, and I will do the same thing for you, not to you. And I'll do the same thing for you. Right? Because I really want you to have the best possible reception. That little, this is a 6-minute with Randy, as they always turn out to be. But the actual little presentation speech message that I give, it's a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. And that sets the tone for everything we do after that. 1 out of, 20 weddings, maybe, do I ever say that's a horrible idea? And it's probably not that often. Sometimes I would go, man, let me think about how we could make that work. That's usually my code for, I don't like that. But sometimes we resist an idea just because it's new. They do the same thing. People are resistant to new ideas. So what I try to do is to not reject the idea, but just go, okay, let me think about how I can make that work, right? We want to play this, really great sappy song as you walk in the door, but I know it won't get the result that you want. Where could I put that? So there's a lot of ways to do it. So I hope that helps you. Practice that speech a little bit. And again, make it yours. My meetings are light and funny and long and all of that. So I can say that sort of stuff and I can say with laughter in my voice, and I'll do the same thing for you, and they will laugh. There's a certain type of personality where that might really rub somebody the wrong way. So, and you can't say, and I'll tell you when you're wrong, right? It's not the wording here and the heart behind that is everything. Like I'm really not doing it as an ego thing. When I say I don't want to work for you, it's not my ego. It's because I can do more for you if we work together, if I work with you instead of for you. So, minute's almost up, and I will see you next week with more.